What's up, guys? Welcome to June 3rd as we dive into Proverbs chapter 22, verse 17, where it talks about the 30 sayings of the wise. Listen to the words of the wise, apply your heart to my instructions, for it is good to keep these sayings in your heart and always ready on your lips. I am teaching you today, yes, you, so you will trust in the Lord. I have written 30 sayings for you, filled with advice and knowledge. In this way you may know the truth and take an accurate report to those who sent you. Don't rob the poor just because you can, or exploit the needy in court. For the Lord is their defender. He will ruin anyone who ruins them. Don't befriend angry people or associate with hot-tempered people, or you will learn to be like them and endanger your soul. Don't agree to guarantee another person's debt or put it security for someone else. If you can't pay, even your bed will be snatched from under you. Don't cheat your neighbor by moving the ancient boundary markers set up by previous generations. Do you see any truly competent workers? They will serve kings rather than working for ordinary people. While dining with the ruler, pay attention to what is put before you. If you are a big eater, put a knife to your throat. Don't desire all the delicacies, for he might be trying to trick you. Don't wear yourself out trying to get rich. Be wise enough to know when to quit. In the blink of an eye, wealth disappears, for it will sprout wings and fly away like an eagle. Don't eat with people who are stingy. Don't desire the delicacies. They are always thinking about how much it will cost. Eat and drink, they say, but they don't mean it. You will throw up with little you have eaten, and your compliments will be wasted. Don't waste your breath on fools, for they will despise the wisest advice. Don't cheat your neighbor by moving the ancient boundary markers. Don't take the land of the defenseless orphans, for their Redeemer is strong. He himself will bring their charges against you. Commit yourself to instruction. Listen carefully to words of knowledge. Don't fail to discipline your children. The rod of punishment won't kill them. Physical discipline may well save them from death. My child, if your heart is wise, my own heart will rejoice. Everything in me will celebrate when you speak when you speak what is right. Don't envy sinners, but always continue to fear the Lord. You will be rewarded for this. Your hope will not be disappointed. My child, listen and be wise. Keep your hearts at the right course. Do not carouse with drunkards or drink or feast with gluttons, for they are on their way to poverty, and too much sleep clothes them in gags. Listen to your father who gave you life, and don't despise your mother when she is old. Give the truth and never sell it. Always give wisdom, discipline, and good judgment. The father of godly children has cause for joy. What a pleasure to have children who are wise. So give your father and mother joy, and may she gave you birth be happy. May she who gave you birth be happy. O my son, give me your heart. May your eyes take delight in following my ways. A prostitute is a dangerous trap. A promiscuous woman is as dangerous as falling into a narrow well. She hides and waits for a robber, eager to make more men unfaithful. Who has anguish? Who has sorrow? Who is always fighting? Who is always complaining? Who has unnecessary bruises? Who has bloodshot eyes? It is the one who spends long hours in the taverns, trying out new drinks. Don't gaze at the wine, seeing how red it is, how it sparkles in the cup, how smoothly it goes down. For in the end it bites like a poisonous snake, it stings like a viper. You will see hallucinations and you will see crazy things. You will say crazy things. You will stagger like a sailor tossed at sea, clinging to a swaying mast. And you will say, they hit me, but I didn't feel it. I didn't even know know it when they beat me up. When will I wake up so I can look for another drink? Don't envy evil people or desire their company, for their hearts plot violence, and their words always stir up trouble. A house is built by wisdom and becomes strong through good sense. Through knowledge, its rooms are filled with all sorts of precious riches and valuables. The wise are mightier than the strong, and those with knowledge grow stronger and stronger. Don't go to war without wise guidance. Victory depends on having many advisors. Wisdom is too lofty for fools. Among leaders at the city gates, they have nothing to say. A person who plans evil will get a reputation as a troublemaker. The schemes of a fool are sinful. Everyone detests a mocker. If you fail under pressure, your strength is too small. Rescue those who are unjustly sentenced to die. Save them as they stagger to their death. Don't excuse yourself by saying, "Look, we didn't know." For God understands all hearts and He sees you. He who guards your soul know who know He who guards your soul knows you knew. He will repay all people as their actions deserve. My child, eat honey, for it is good, and the honeycomb is sweet to the taste. In the same way, wisdom is sweet to your soul. If you find it, you will have a bright future, and your hopes will not be cut short. Don't wait in ambush at the home of the godly, and don't raid the house where the godly live. The godly may trip 7 times, but they will get up again. But one disaster is enough to overflow the wicked. Don't rejoice when your enemies fall. Don't be happy when they stumble, for the Lord will be displeased with you, and will turn your anger away from them. Don't fret because of don't fret because of evildoers. Don't envy the wicked, for evil people have no future. The light of the wicked will be snuffed out. My child, fear the Lord, the King. Don't associate with rebels, for disaster will hit them suddenly. Who knows what punishment will come from the Lord and the King? More sayings of the wise. Here are some further sayings of the wise. Is it wrong to show favoritism when passing judgment? A judge who says to the wicked, "You are innocent," will be cursed by many people and denounced by the nations. But it will go well for those who convict the guilty. Rich blessings will be showered on them. An honest answer is like a kiss of friendship. Do you plan? Do you do your planning and prepare your fields before building your house? Do your planning and prepare your fields before building your house? Don't testify against your neighbor without cause. Don't lie about them, and don't say, "Now I can pay them back for what they have done for me. I'll get even with them." I walk by the fields of a lazy person, the vineyard of one who had who the one the vineyard of one who with no common sense. I saw that it was overflown with nettles, it was covered with weeds, and its walls were broken down. Then, as I looked and thought about it, I learned this lesson. A little extra sleep, a little more slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. Then poverty will denounce on you like a bandit. Scarcity will attack you like an armed robber. And so that's the end for today. You know what's interesting? Just this whole idea is like don't return evil for evil. Like I never thought uh I never thought the Bible, like I never thought in the Old Testament it talks about that. I always thought that term or like that reference is made by Jesus when he says turn the other cheek if your enemy hits you. And so yeah, like verse 9:29, it says, verse 28, it says, "Don't testify against your neighbors without cause. Don't lie about them, and don't say, 'Now I can pay them back for what they have done to me. I'll get even with them.'" That's verses 28, 29 of chapter 24. And I don't know, it's like it's just interesting because like I think some of us can really focus on what Jesus says, and I think it's just as important, if not important, to focus more on what Jesus says. But it's like, as a God who is known to be consistent with who he is, with his character, it's also helpful to look in the Old Testament to see how the Old Testament aligns with the character of Jesus. And so, for example, what I just read is like aligns with the whole idea is like, don't return evil for evil, right? Let the evil one be assigned guilty of their crimes. Don't make yourself guilty as well, if that makes sense. But yeah, let's I forgot. What am I doing? Hold on. Okay. So here are some sayings that we should probably pay attention to. Don't rob the poor just because you can, or exploit the needy in the court, for the Lord is their defender. He will ruin anyone who ruins them. That is a great comfort to those who are poor. I think we're all spiritually poor, but I think it's talking about more like the victims, like the poorest of the poor. If people takes advantage of them, and I know people do this all the time, they take it. I mean, I'm not saying all people, because there are some genuine good people in the world, but there are a handful of people in this world that has no care for other people around them, and so they would take advantage of people who are less fortunate, who are who are poor, more poor than they are. They will use their life, their resources to their advantage to meet their own meet their own needs. And so it reminded me of the story of David and Nathan, and how the whole story of like the rich owner had all these rich sheep, yet he did not want to sacrifice any of his rich sheep, so he decides to go to this poor man's, his neighbor, who is a poor man with only one sheep, and use that sheep to kill it. That's kind of what it's talking about, in a sense. Like, it's like, guys, I'm not saying like you're being blessed, but like you've been blessed enough where you're not as poor as this person you're about to take advantage, right? Don't, and this is just common sense. Like, don't be a jerk towards people who are less fortunate than you. Obviously, every now and then we can screw up, we can make mistakes, and I'm not saying that's like excusable actions. No, they're not excusable, but there's a difference between accidental sins, accidentally taking advantage of somebody, versus doing it full consciously and stuff. But yeah, obviously, don't be friend with angry people, or associate with hot-tempered people, because, and that's the thing, is like the whole theme is like, uh show me your friends, show me, and I'll tell you your future. Kind of that sense. Like, if you hang out with people it's always angry, I think, like, yes, in the beginning you may not see the change within your own hearts, but as you spend more time with them, those changes within your hearts starts to change, like, slowly, until you start to realize, wait, oh my gosh, I'm actually getting angry as well. Why am I getting angry about this stupid little thing and things? So like being consciously aware. It's like, if you, unless you have like a great self-control of not being affected by other people, I don't think it's a good idea to be friending with people who gets angry easily, who gets frustrated with things easily. But that still means like, but that does not mean that you can't be friends. Like, that does not mean that you can be respectful towards them. You can still be respectful and not be friends with them at the same time and stuff. So, and then obviously, don't guarantee another person's debt, or put up security for someone else if you can't pay for it. It's like, why would you do that? I don't understand. Like, why would you make a promise about somebody else that you have no clue about, and then you have to be the ones to pay for the consequences because you made a promise about somebody else who you probably didn't even have the resource to be able to pay for whatever, and you coming out here just claiming that they have everything, that they can pay for everything, even though they don't. So yeah, don't do that. I don't really understand when it says don't cheat your neighbor by moving the ancient boundary markers set up by previous generations. Don't fully understand what that means, but if you guys know, please just let me know things. Do you see on any truly competent workers? They will serve kings rather than working for ordinary people. For like competent people, like true workers, are the ones, I think, are the ones who are willing to serve even the ordinary people, not just kings, but the ordinary people. It shows here their humility. It shows that they don't show favoritism towards one group of people over the other. Obviously, I think they'll do better. They'll try better. Like they'll try even harder to be perfect in front of important people. But the action of working for ordinary people shows a lot of love and humility from them. Pay attention to what you eat when you be invited. Obviously, don't wear yourself out. Oh, this is a good one. Chapter 23 says, "Don't wear yourself out trying to get rich. Be wise enough to know when to quit." And that's the thing. It's like people in this world. I know some people. I'm not saying it. There are a couple of people I know in this world. It's like where they say like money is the only way to pursue your happiness. That they'll say like the purpose of life is to earn money, as much money as you can. And so for that, it's like I would say like, yes, money is a big aspect of life, but like when do you stop? Because you can't just keep trying to make money. That's not how it works. I mean, yes, I mean that is how it works, but that's not going to give you spiritual satisfaction, if that makes sense. Like, but yeah, it's like understanding when to quit, when to, and the thing is like when you know when you're supposed to quit and quit, it shows a lot of self-control, self-discipline, physical discipline. And that should be something that everybody should be applying for celebrating. It's like when you have that physical and self-discipline of saying, no, even though I could be making more money, I decide not to. And then, yeah, so, yeah, and how like, don't eat with people who are stingy. I would rather that person be stingy and not having me to be part of like the reason why they're being stingy. Overeating with stingy people and be the reason for why. Be one of the reasons as to why they're being stingy. So, don't waste your breath on fools, for they will despise the wisest advice. For example, that's something that I need to take heart to. It's like if people don't want to agree with me, it's like at the end of the day, guys, it's like, yes, words matter, words bring life and death. But like at the same time, it's like, I don't know, it's like if people really do not understand where you're coming from, then why waste your breath on them? I just never understand that. And the things like I struggle with that sometimes as well because I really want them to understand. But things like no matter what I say, they're not gonna be able to understand. So what's the point of like keep on trying because like we're just gonna be stuck in our own beliefs about different things. But yeah, don't fail to discipline your children. The rod of punishment won't kill them. That's interesting. Physical discipline may save them from. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. The rod of punishment. I don't know. Does that mean like the Bible encourages parents to sometimes have to use physical force to discipline their children, as long as you don't morally injure or kill somebody? Oh no, because sometimes I feel like people say, like, "Oh, don't hit your kids." I was like, I mean, I feel like sometimes hitting your kids is the way to go about disciplining your kids. Words can only do so much before actions has to be taken. I'm just saying, like, yeah, I've been like physically like disciplined, like physically hit and stuff, and I feel like I became a better person because of it. Yes, every now and then I would still hate the feeling of being hit, hate that it happened, but then at the same time, it's like I don't know if I could have been the same person that I am today without those physical punishments. But yeah, then it talks about don't envy sinners and always continue to fear the Lord. You'll be rewarded for this. As I'm trying to think, like, and it kind of talks about how, like our hearts, we should keep our hearts on the right course, listen and be wise. Do not feast with drunk people who are drunk and who have very lack of self-control. And like verses 28 to 35, it makes me not want to drink alcohol even more because of possible effects when it comes to drinking alcohol. It's like that the scary part is like blacking out, waking up not understand what in the world happened. You lose control of your body, so you do things that you don't want to do, but it's because you lost your control of your body. Your body's going to do whatever it wants to do and stuff. Yep, and it talks about how a house is built by wisdom. Yeah. Built by wisdom because strong through good sense. The wise are mightier than the strong. And that's what Proverbs, I feel like we can be as physically strong or be physically successful in whatever ways. But it's like if we don't have the wisdom within our hearts to discern what is right and wrong, how to live a healthy lifestyle, then it's like all of that doesn't matter. Like genuinely, it does not matter. I could be like very rich and spiritually I could feel like crap. I could feel like really cruddy and stuff. And so that's the thing that Proverbs really encouraging people is like just pursue the hearts, pursue the inner peace that we all need, not the physical materials that's been offered to us. In this like verse 7 to verse 16 of chapter 24, it says, "The godly may trip 7 times, but they will get up. But one disaster is enough to overflow the wicked." And that's the thing is like about wisdom is like wisdom being there to help you in your darkest moments. Wisdom is there to help pick you back up so you're not on the floor all the time, constantly. While a person who has no wisdom in their hearts, understanding of wisdom, the moment something happens, they're gonna collapse because they have nothing in their spiritual life that's strong enough to withstand, to help prop them up during their hard moments. And so that's why like I feel like one of the reasons for why wisdom is so important is because it is supposed to help us when we in our hardest moments to look up to God, to like really discern what is right and wrong. And so that like even if we trip and fall, it's like we have a way of standing back up. Don't be the people that just stubborn in the heart and does not want to listen and just trips and like when like you can't possibly get up because you did not have the materials, you do not have the techniques to understand how to get up and stuff. But yeah, that's something I think. And then it talks about how don't show favoritism. Yes, we know this. An honest answer is like a kiss of friendship. That honest answer could also be a kick from a friend as well. Because like some friends are not acceptance of the truth, and so they lash out at you with anger because I don't think anybody enjoys being rebuked, but there are people in this world that does not handle well, that does not know how to handle the action of being corrected, so they're gonna lash out at you for trying to help them stuff. So sorry, actually, but yeah, that's kind of what I got. I think in the future I need to do something like this a bit more. It's like where it's like I try to go deeper into each verse instead of just going into random things. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know if that makes sense. Like maybe not random things, but like going on like a rant about things that just pops out to me. So actually diving into like it verse by verse, I think it's more helpful and stuff. So I don't have anything else to share, so may you guys go and walk with God today.